It is my happy place. Let's bring in the Fox News political insiders, John LeBoutillier, former Republican congressman for New York, Pat Caddell, a former pollster for President Jimmy Carter, and Fox News contributor Doug Schoen, former pollster for President Bill Clinton, and a Fox News contributor as well. Gentlemen, good to see you.
Good to see you.
We had a little bit of news over the weekend, and it's still developing, and we're getting ready to see in about 29 minutes the first of the markets that we're watching globally around the world open up in the Asian markets, and then it'll go on from there. Europe opens up overnight. John, Brexit, Britain's exit from the EU.
You know, Harris, when I saw it at 5 o'clock on Friday morning, the first two thoughts I had were remembering 1979 and the shocking election of Margaret Thatcher and the Conservatives in England, and a year later, Reagan, which was equally a shock at that time that Reagan would be elected. There was a revolution going on against government, state-sponsored stuff, and it was in 79 and 80, and we won that. And here we are a generation later, and Brexit is the sign of the same type of revolutionary fervor missed by the elites in the media. The pollsters are missing it. They're not getting it. Question is, it's here. We know it's here. We've said it to you for 4 years. It's here. The question is it here enough to win the presidency? Well,
and what would it look like, really? Because I'm seeing, you know, Donald Trump came out, Hillary Clinton hit with a quick ad. First of all, your thoughts about the Hillary Clinton ad on Brexit. Is that kind of a spin job on I was wrong, but I wasn't?
Yeah, it was a spin job. Look, I don't think Brexit really is going to make a big difference. We have different demographics. Hillary is surging in the new polls.
Oh, boy.
Well ahead in every swing state except North Carolina. Huge financial advantage. 50 CEOs endorsed Hillary. Harris, this was the best week of Hillary's campaign so far. She is pulling away.
All right, so the best week, but we have dueling polls. I'll let you take it away.
If this was her best week, boy, is she in trouble. Because let me just say, we have dueling polls, but we do know this. When you do a poll that is 2.5 times more Democratic than it's supposed to be over Republicans, you can get some interesting results, as ABC did. And we know they're good polls, bad polls. Journal has it at 5, but I thought their commentary was really good, where they said Donald Trump, after the worst month of the campaign, has only lost a few points.
You concede it was the worst month.
And, of course it was the worst month. And they said she's been unable to really capitalize it because of her own negatives. We keep saying we have this negative election, but about Brexit, and this is important, and let me say that 50 CEOs, part of the corporate crony class that Americans hate, by both the Bernie Sanders people all the way over to the Trump supporters. You know, she can have those. It's like having today the endorsement she got from Hank Paulson, former Goldman Sachs person who helped orchestrate the bailouts and in fact help incite the 2008 collapse when he let Lehman Brothers go. You know, this is the establishment as it was in Britain, joining together. It's the press. I watch the press. BBC, they look like they were in absolutely shock because they kept waiting on more. There's still more results. This is the entire political community.
Go ahead, John.
I think I agree with Pat. And we've said, all three of us, for years, there's a revolution brewing in the country. But the question is, can Donald Trump overcome his own over-the-top personality sometimes and harness this thing? He needs to cut back a little bit. You know what I mean? Not be so harsh.
Does he need to cut back?
Yes.
I mean, he's got his team forming now. He's got Paul Manafort ahead of the campaign.
The team isn't the issue. The issue is the candidate runs this campaign, and the candidate thinks he can do no wrong, and he needs to realize he's a human being. There are good people who would like to help him. There's no sense in alienating so many people.
Well, let me ask this question, though, just back on Brexit. I mean, when you talk about Donald Trump, was it just coincidental, or did he just hit the jackpot by being where he was when the story was breaking on Friday?
I would say it is fortuitous. And to Pat and John's point, the people that voted to leave the UK, to vote for taking Britain back, to vote to limit immigration, are the same people who've supported Donald Trump. The but is more important, Harris. There is a broad mass of people in this country who don't like Donald Trump now, who say he's unqualified to be president. And as John and Pat say, it's going to be a real challenge for him to turn that around and harness all the antipathy.
Let's talk about these polls, because we have two of the greatest pollsters on our desk right now. So I want to pop up, first of all, that Washington Post poll, which Donald Trump takes exception to, that shows a 12-point difference. Okay, but I've heard you, Pat, call this an outlier.
Well, yes, it's an outlier. They had Democrats at about 2.5 times the margin over Republicans that they actually have. If you brought it in line, and often, by the way, their pedigree history is that they usually are the most outlier pro-Democratic polling. Just go back and look at 14. But that varies. All the polls vary. But it is not 10 points with only 10% for other candidates and undecided. In the CBS polls this morning, in the swing states, you have what is basically a situation. You have both of them basically tied around 40%. What? Well, a point or two. Doug, you know, come on. Statistically, they are tied.
But consistent.
All right. But NBC News has another one that shows it even tighter. So how do you guys know about polls? Is that a good one to look at? Like, what do you look at?
All of them. You look at all of them. Let me tell you.
Let Pat finish. Hold on. Just tell me.
You try to look at all of them, and you have to look at how they're constructed and how they sort. I'm interested in the much deeper numbers. But the problem, the media polls, is they're so shallow. What we have is what we cannot decide yet. We have two candidates with high negatives. One is the candidate of the status quo, the America we have, at a time when 68% people think the country is in decline, and 80-some% believe the political class has rigged the rules and the country against them. And then we have a candidate who's flawed. Is this election going to be about qualifications, or is it going to be, are you happy with where you are and where you want to go? It smells like more like 1980
Real
to
quickly,
me, and I was involved in
I want to bring in, and just let everybody know, when I like your tweet, it means I'm trying to get it into the conversation. Eddie Hill, directly to you, John, I believe, says, no, Trump does not need to change. We'll talk more about this on the other side of the break. Stay close.